Many of my viewers have successfully cracked interviews and got jobs after watching my videos, and I believe you can also do the same. Hello friends, as per my research, .NET is the backend technology where the average salary is highest than any other backend technology. So if you want to improve on your salary, then .NET is a good choice. Now to get the .NET job and for cracking the interviews, today I am going to cover the top 10 .NET interview questions which are required for candidates having 2 to 3 years of experience in .NET. Okay. You can also treat this video as a mock interview for practice. How? Just listen to the question, pause the video, think about your own answer, and then listen to my answer and compare. Okay. Hey, my name is Happy and I help candidates in cracking .NET interviews by posting .NET career related, jobs related and interview guidance videos. If you don't want to miss those latest videos on .NET, then hit the like and subscribe button. Now let's start with the first question. What are the types of classes in C#? Now sometimes interviewers ask this senseless question where the context is not clear. Because a class can be public, private and protected also. Or a class can be also like abstract class, static class, partial and sealed class. Okay. Now you have to answer both ways. Whatever he is thinking, the interviewer, he will get it. Okay. How to prevent a class from being inherited? Now this is a tricky question and in many interviews this question has been asked. The simple answer is by using sealed keyword in base class. If you will mark some class as sealed, then you cannot then inherit that class. Okay, see the code here. You mark the base, the employee class as sealed. Now when you will try to derive this class in a child class permanent employee, then .NET framework will give a compiler error. Okay, because employee is marked as sealed and therefore you cannot inherit from this class. Here you can see the error, permanent employee cannot derive from sealed type employee. Now this is a normal answer which most candidates give in the interviews. Now to create an impression, like extra impression in interview, you can also say that you can prevent a class from being inherited by using static keyword in the base class also. This is another way. Okay, and here is the code. Same as sealed class, you cannot inherit static class also. Now what's the difference then? If both are doing the same thing, then why they both exist? Means only one can exist and the problem is solved. The difference between sealed class and static class is you cannot create the object of the static class, but yes, you can create the object of the sealed class. Sealed class you cannot inherit but create the object. Okay, so now you have to use the keyword as based on your requirement. If you need the object, then use sealed keyword. And if you do not need the object, you do not need inheritance, then use static class. So that is the answer of this question. Alright friends, before we hit the next question, if you have not yet accepted my never give up challenge, then accept it. Make a promise and commitment to yourself, no matter how tough it gets, no matter how many rejections you will face, but you will never give up until you crack the interview. That is also my own struggle story with interviews. Accept this challenge by writing never give up in the comment section right now. Trust me, the moment you write it, you will feel an instant boost of confidence and motivation towards your goal. What is encapsulation? How to implement encapsulation in real applications? Encapsulation is a very important concept of OOPS. Most of us don't know, but we are already using encapsulation in our projects. Let me show you the code first. Here is an employee class which have a field EMP experience, okay, which is basically the employee experience. Remember when we say field, In C Sharp, when we say field, then it represents the data only. Now this field cannot be accessed from outside of this class because it is a private field. To access this field outside, we have to create a public property EMP experience like this. Now if you want to access this data outside the class, then here you can see the main method, and here we will not directly access the field, but we will access the EMP experience property. This combining of property and field is called wrapping, and this is one of the best example of encapsulation which is everyone is using in their projects. Also nowadays we use this shortcut way of writing the property, but this is just the shortcut. Internally this property is also using the field only. So the definition is, encapsulation means wrapping of data and methods into a single unit. Why I included properties here? Because properties are nothing else but special kinds of methods only. Now the question is, why encapsulation required in real applications, right? In other words, why we cannot just make the field or data public and access it from outside? Why to make it private and then create the property? That is like extra work, right? The reason of creating properties will make your data more secure, and via property you can put some additional logic with this field value like encryption, description, so it's like a kind of wrapper. For example, suppose you do not want anyone to change the experience or set the experience. You want employee experience just to be a read-only data. Now through property, just remove this set statement from here, and then no other developer can set this data because it will be read only then. That way you can secure your data with properties, but that is not possible with fields, right? Now let me also show you how you can violate the encapsulation. For example, in this screenshot, employees class does not have any property. See, there is no property in it. And in the main method, field is accessed without property. It will work, right? It will work. But it is violating an encapsulation concept of OOPS because field data is accessed without property or function. It will work, but it is violating encapsulation. That is why it is not the better approach. I hope now you understand what is encapsulation. What is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation? Now the reason why both of these concepts create confusion because both of them are talking about hiding. Abstraction means showing only required things and hiding the background details. Encapsulation means wrapping up of data and methods into a single unit so that data remain hidden and can only be accessed via the properties or the functions, right? Both are talking about hiding. But if you notice here, abstraction is talking about hiding in general, which means not just the data, but also any kind of processing, any function, they can also be hidden. That means data may or may not be the part of abstraction. For example, in this code, calculate salary is a method for employee salary class. You can inherit this class in employee class, then use this class object to call the method without knowing the calculate salary logic. Notice we are not hiding any data here. We are hiding the implementation of calculate salary method. But if we see the definition of encapsulation, then data must be the part of encapsulation. Here in the property example also, data is the part of the property. So that is the difference. Abstraction is a broader concept of hiding, whereas encapsulation is like a proper implementation where you wrap the method and the data together. You can say encapsulation is one way of implementing abstraction also. Like abstraction is a high level thing, okay, it's a concept. Encapsulation is a low level thing, is a implementation level thing, okay. Now I think you got the difference between the two. Here is a very interesting question. What is the difference between method overriding and method hiding? We already compared overriding and overloading, and this is like the next level comparison. Let's see the code of overriding. Here we are overriding the greetings methods in the derived class. Now when we create the object of the derived class, then derived class method will be called, right? But sometimes we have to declare the object as base class and then create the object of the derived class like this. For example, let me tell you a scenario. Suppose we have one base class and 10 derived class. Okay, then we will just declare the obj derived variable as a base class, and then we will write the condition like, if this condition is true, obj derived equal to new derived class 1. Else if this condition, obj derived equal to new derived class 2. So similarly, like so on and so on. So in those kind of scenarios, if you will call this greetings method, then it will call derived class method, because this is expected from overriding, right? This is overriding, to override the base class method. Now what is method hiding? In method hiding, you can completely hide the implementation of the methods of the base class from the derived class using the new keyword. Now let me show you the code. If you see, it is the same as overriding code, except the only difference is we have not used virtual and override keyword here. Rather, a new keyword is present in the derived class method. It is not override, it is new keyword. Rest of the things are like almost same. Now this new keyword will, what it will do, it will completely give a new meaning to this greetings method. That means now this greetings method has no connection or relation with the base class greetings methods. In other words, in overriding you are overriding the method, but here in method hiding you are completely redefining the method. It is like completely a new method. And if you perform the same thing here, like creating the variable of the base class, then it will execute the base class method, because the object is declared of base class, so it will execute the base class method. The conclusion is, in overriding we override the method by using the virtual and override keyword, but in method hiding we completely redefine the method with new keyword. So even the .NET compiler will think it as a completely new method. It will not think that it is an overridden version of the base class method. Got it? Hi friends, just a small notification. This video is part of my full course, Top 500 .NET Interview Questions, including topics like .NET Core, Web API, SQL, Solid Principle, etc. All questions PDF book link is also present below in the description. So like these candidates who cracked the interviews and got offers via this course, and if you don't want to miss anything for your interviews, then you can try this course. Otherwise, no problem. Let's continue. Now we are going to cover the most important question of any interview. In my experience, this is the most asked question in the interviews. What is the difference between an abstract class and an interface? At least 4. Why 4? Because this is a very important question and it is good to create a good impression on interviewer by telling as much as you can. So let's explore the differences one by one. First difference is, abstract class contains both declaration and definition of methods. Let me show you the code. See, employee class has 2 methods, project and role. One is declared and another is defined with the body. On the other hand, interface should contain only declaration of methods. Let me show you the code. See, here we have 2 methods, project and manager 1, and both are just declared. There is no body of these methods. Now there is one very interesting point here. As per the latest versions of C#, now C# allows you to define the body of the interface methods also. So method body is possible in interfaces. But why Microsoft allowed definition or body for methods in the interfaces? The reason, suppose you have a very big project employee management system. Initially you created this iEmployee interface there with the declared method. But after 1 year you realize that this manager 1 is a concrete method now. Okay, its implementation is common. Now what to do? If you will change this interface to abstract class, then a lot of code change will be required in your big project, right? And that will lead to errors also. Therefore, Microsoft allowed method bodies inside the interfaces also. Then you can just define the method here. But remember, when you are creating the projects from scratch, never use method bodies inside interfaces. Interfaces are for declaration only. If method body is required, rather use abstract classes. That's why I have explained interface should contain declaration of methods only, right? That is the first difference. Second difference is quite obvious and easy. Abstract classes uses abstract keyword and interfaces uses interface keyword. Now, one very important difference is abstract class does not support multiple inheritance in C Sharp, whereas interface support multiple inheritance. Okay, let me show you the same in code. See, when we are trying to trying multiple inheritance via abstract class, then here at the bottom is this error. When we are deriving from multiple classes employee and employee one in the derived class permanent employee, where as if I show you the code, like it is giving error, right? It is showing the error, compile time error. But in case of interfaces, if I will show you, there is no error. It is working fine with multiple interfaces, I employee 1 and I employee 2. One last difference is abstract classes can have constructors. See, we have constructor employee 1 in abstract class, but interfaces do not have constructors. See, employee 1 constructor is giving error. It's a compile time error. It is not possible. So here is the summary list of all the differences which we have discussed. Please try to memorize at least 3 of them and one difference, because one difference is not sufficient in interviews. Can you create an instance of an abstract class or an interface instance or object? Can you create? Yeah, this is a thinking question. Before answering these kind of questions, think, right? What is the purpose of abstract class and interface? And the answer is they both are for acting as the base classes, right? So here, if we have one base class like employee class and interface like IEmployee, and then we are when we try to create the object of both of them like this, then the .NET compiler will give build error, right? It is not possible. So the answer is no. Abstract class and interface purpose is to act as the base classes via inheritance. Their object or instance creation is not possible. Which one is explicit, boxing or unboxing? Now, if you look at the code of boxing and unboxing, we do not have to write anything or any type while doing boxing, okay? But when we do unboxing, then we have to write or provide the type here also. That means we have to explicitly provide the type for unboxing. The answer is unboxing is an explicit conversion. Now here is a very important question from interview perspective. What is the difference between throw x and throw? Let's see the difference. Throw x will change the stack trace, whereas throw will preserve the whole stack trace. Let's try to understand this with the help of code. See, here in the code we have used throw x, okay? From main method we called divided by 0 method, which is doing nothing but trying to divide 0 by 0, and therefore it will definitely throw an error, okay? Now we will catch this error in the catch block and then use throw x to send the error details to the main method, okay? Here it will goes inside the catch block and then exception stack trace will be printed, okay? So this is the error printed. This is telling the problem is at line 32, right? But if you see at line 32, we have throw x. The root of the error is not here. Okay, we tried by dividing by divide. So 3x throw x is not the root of the error. So basically, throw x is basically not preserving the actual stack trace, and it is somehow changing the stack trace. All right. So now that is we are trying to 0 by 0, so this is not good. So what we will do, now we will use throw. So this is the example of the throw. See, here is the code. We have just replaced throw x with throw, nothing else. Rest of the body is exactly same. Now we will run it. Again the error that will be printed from here inside the cache block, right? And this will be the error. And this time it is showing carefully, see, it is showing the error is at line 28. And that is what is the right point of the error. That is the root of the error which we were expecting as a developer. We need the logs to give the right point, right? So the reason it is throwing the right error because throw will not modify the actual stack trace. It will preserve the whole stack trace, and that is good, right? Because now developer can easily locate the error location for after checking the stack trace. Therefore, it's a best practice to use throw as it preserves the whole stack trace. Sometimes you will not find any difference between throw and throwx if there is only one method. Okay, but if you are calling one method from other method, then you will find the difference. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. Explain generics in C#. When and why to use them in real applications. This is a very important question from interview perspective and even from usage purpose in real application. Let's start with the definition. Generics allows us to make classes and methods type independent or type safe. Now what is type independent? Let's first see the code. See, this is the code. We have a calculator class which have a method requal, and it checks whether two integers are equal or not. If equal, then it will return true, and if not, then it will return false. Okay. Now inside the main method, when we will call this requal method like this, since requal is a static method, we can call it directly, right? Otherwise we have to create the object, the same thing. Okay. Now here we are comparing 4 with 4. It will work and execute properly without any problem. But then this second line where we are sending strings is interview and happy in parameters will not work because these are strings and our requal method only accepts integer parameters. So this will not work. This is a problem, right? We need a method which can compare any type. So how to solve this problem? How to make a, so now you know what is type independent. Like this is type dependent, it is integer, it's a like type dependent. So now our generics will make this thing type independent. So let's see how to solve this problem and how to make this type independent. So now for that, one approach is replace this requal method with a new method like this. Here we will accept object as the parameter in the requal method. This will first convert integer or string to object, and it will then compare the object values and then return true or false. This will work and solve our problem. But the problem with this is it involves boxing and unboxing. Okay, because it is converting value type to reference type, integer to object, that is value to reference. This will impact the performance. So this is not the best way. The other way is to create a separate requal method which will accept a string parameter and compare strings, right? Basically to create overload of this method, which is again not the best approach because number of lines of code will increase. Okay, now this is our way, and that is generics. Now let's see how the generics will make this type independent. So first, to making, see the code here. First look at this requal method and the alphabet T inside angular brackets and the parameter of type T. In this way, we have to make our requal method as a generic method. Generic means now this method can accept any type. T is any type here. Okay, let me show you how it will accept any type. See the main method here. This commented is the old code. Okay, right? Now instead of calling method like this, we will call the generic method like with this type name inside the angular brackets after the method name. Here the type is int. Then when it will call the method, this will pass integer as type, and here the T which is type is accepted as integer. Now if you want to compare the to a string like other than integer like a string, then we will set the type as a string like this. Then the method will accept T as a string and then it will compare the strings. In this way, same method, same requal will handle both integer and string comparison. I hope now you understand how generics will help you in creating methods which are type independent or type safe. Now remember, T is a type here. You can use any other alphabet also, like other than T, like XYZ. But T somehow relates to type. And mostly in application we use T only. So you should also use T only. Now we will see how to make the class the generic. Like this is method we make the generic. Now we will make the generic class. Okay. See the code here. Here instead of method, we will put T in angular brackets in front of class itself. And in method, we will only accept parameter as T. Now when you will call r equal math from main method, we will call like this. This time again, we are putting the type in front of the class, not in the front of the methods. This will also do the same output, will also function the same way. Class will receive the string or integer type, then it will compare as per that. But there is one benefit of using generic with classes as comparison to methods, and that is if your class have multiple methods like this, then instead of putting type in front of every method, you should put at one place at the class level. Okay, so then it will be by default applicable to all the methods. So this will make your class a generic class, which is the better way, right? So normally in our projects also we make class generics, okay, not the methods. That is because one step better. So I hope now you understand what is generic, where we use the generics in our application, how generics are making the methods type independent, how generics are not using the boxing and unboxing, how they are improving the performance. So that's it about all about the generics. Now here is a very important question. What is the difference between IEnumerable and IQueryable in C#? Why to use IQueryable for SQL queries? We already know what is IEnumerable, right? Now we will more focus on IQueryable. First, remember this point about IQueryable. IQueryable inherited from IEnumerable interface only. So anything you can do with IEnumerable, you can also do that with IQueryable also. For example, iterating the collection can be done by both IEnumerable and IQueryable. When you right click and see the definition of IQueryable, you will find this. See, IQueryable is inherited from IEnumerable. So whatever IEnumerable can do, IQueryable can also do. In addition, IQueryable can perform some extra tasks related to SQL queries that I will shortly explain. Okay. Now see the code here. Here we have a list which we are iterating using IEnumerable, and here is the output. Now we can use IQueryable also to iterate the same list and we will get the same result. Now the point is, why we need IQueryable when IEnumerable is already there? The reason is IEnumerable is used with and it is preferred with in-memory collections like array, array list. All these are in-memory collections, in-memory objects also you can say. Whereas IQueryable is better in getting results from database. So suppose you want to get records from database through link queue. Okay, for that first you will you will use IEnumerable like this. Do not worry about the link queue and lambda expression here, that I will explain in other videos, but you are understanding this, right? Here we are getting the records from the employees table where the employee's name start with H, right? And you will get the filtered result in this list E. Okay, now the same result you can get by using IQueryable interface also. See the same query and you will get the same result in list Q this time. But the point is, IQueryable will take less time as comparison to IEnumerable. Now let me explain this why. If you use IEnumerable, then first the request will go to the database and bring the whole data from the database. And then the filter the result at the server side here. So bringing the whole data from the network will impact the performance in a negative way, right? Because the data is too much. Okay. On the other hand, if you use IQueryable, then the request will go to the database, filter the data then and there only, and then send back the filtered data, not the whole data, which is good for performance because data is lesser, the filtered data is lesser. So that is the reason IQueryable is better than IEnumerable for SQL queries and database operation. All the points I have explained, I have said are written here only, so that later anyone can refer this PowerPoint and for the revision purpose. One more point, IQueryable is under system.linQ namespace, whereas IEnumerable is under system.collections namespace. That is all about IEnumerable and IQueryable. What is the difference between pass by value and pass by reference parameters? Let's try to understand this with the help of code. This is the example of pass by value. Okay, here we are setting the variable x and y some integer value. Then we are printing that value. Now we are calling one method which name is pass by value. Here we are passing the x and y as parameters, and here is our method. And here after the values via parameter, we are assigning new values to x and y like this. And then after the method call, we are printing x and y again. Okay. But here you can see the new assigned values are not printed. Old values 5 and 10 are printed only. The reason is when by default this variable x and this variable x have different addresses in memory. They are not the same variables. They are different. Yes, the value is passed, but the variable address is different. So if you assign anything here, that will not reflect here. Okay, that is passing parameters by value. But suppose we want to maintain the changes in x and y here and want to see this as output. Okay, these values as output. For that, we will use passing parameters by reference. Here is the code. Exactly same code, everything same. Except in front of parameters, we have used ref keyword. Now same, first we printed x and y, then we call the method by pass by reference. Now this ref keyword will make sure we pass the address also. So now the x variable and this x variable have same address and same value. And if you will change anything in this x and y, that will be changed up there in the method also. So this time the new output will be carry the new values of the x and y. I hope now it is clear to you when you have to use the pass by value and when you have to use the pass by ref in the parameter. Now here is a very important question which is asked in many interviews. What are extension methods in C#? When to use extension methods in real applications, that is even more important. As always, let's start to understand with the help of code. Here you can see a string test which value is hello world. Okay, now you know string is a class provided by .NET framework, and this method like substring which will get a string from the left position, right? So the value of this left string will be like hello. Okay, now suppose in your application at multiple places we need a method which will get the string from the rightmost position. So for example, we need this method, write substring. This is the name of the method we need. In this method, we will pass the value 5 and it will get the last 5 characters of the string. Now we need this method, but .NET string class do not provide or do not have any such kind of method. And we even can't add this method in the string class because we do not have the access of the string class, right? It is there somewhere in the base classes of the .NET framework. We do not have the code. So now how to add this method write substring in the string class? The answer is with the help of extension methods. So see, here is the code. First we will create a string class, a string extension, and will define a write substring method inside it. Here first in the first parameter we will give the name of the class with this keyword for which we are adding the method. In our case, we are adding this extension method for string class. That's why we have given here the name string. Okay, string class. Then we will give other normal parameters of the method which the method will accept. So this count will receive 5 in our case, like from above, right? Then inside the method, you can write the logic for getting the right 5 characters from the string. I'm not explaining the logic because the real purpose is to understand the extension method, not the right substring logic here. That's it. You have added a new method in string class without even modifying the actual string class. So this method you have added is not you have added in the actual string class, right? So that is the main purpose of extension method. Now if you will print write and run this program, then the output will receive hello, this is from the left string, and world you will receive from the this right string. Okay, so now any other developer can use this write substring extension method for a string class in the same project. Interesting, right? So the definition is, extension method allows you to add new methods in the existing class without even modifying the source code of the original class. Okay, that is the definition, but let's see some more points about it. First is, extension methods must be static, because this will directly called from the class name, right? You are not creating the object of the string class and then you are calling, right? So that's why this method should be static. And since the method is static, therefore this class string extensions will be also static. Okay, because why the class is static? So if all the methods of a class are static, then it's better to put the class itself as the static. Okay, second point is about extension method is, this keyword is used for binding this method with the main class. So this method write substring with the main string, the original string class, that binding will be done by this keyword. Okay, if you are creating the extension method of some other class ABC, then you must give the name of that class along with this keyword here. Finally, the use, what is the use of the extension method is, use them when you want to add a method in a class which code you don't have, right? Like in this case, you don't have the code of a string class. Suppose there is a third party library. For that library class, you want to add some method in your own application. So you can extend that class and add one extension method for that class. So this is the use case. This is the real use case of the extension methods. That's the answer of the extension methods. What is this keyword in C#? When to use this keyword in real applications? Let's see the code first. Okay, suppose you have a main method and inside this, here you are creating the object of the student class. Okay, then via this parameterized constructor, you are passing the student ID and name and then calling its method getStudent. Okay, now here is our student class, and now this class also has fields ID and name. So when you are creating the object, this constructor will be called, right? So these parameters which are received from the object creation and these class fields here, their names will confuse you. Okay, what is like how to differentiate which ID is a field and which ID is a parameter? Therefore this is wrong. Now in order to solve this problem and to maintain the difference, you will use this keyword like this with the class fields. Remember, you have to use this with the class fields, not with the parameters. So now the left hand side is this dot id, which is the id of the student class, and right hand side id is the value received from the parameter. So the definition is, this keyword is used to refer to the current instance of the class. Like here, this id field is the field of the student class. Okay, so this keyword is used to this current reference. So id is the part of the class only. So this is the class and id is the reference, like the part of the class. And the use is, this keywords avoids the naming confusion between the class fields and the constructor parameter. That is like one of the use of this keyword. That's the answer of this question. Alright, congratulations for completing all the questions. If you have reached here, that means you have the courage and patience required for cracking the interviews. Just don't stop here and keep rolling until you get your goal. Okay, only one recommendation from my side: if you have not started yet, then start giving interviews. As I always said, interviews are the best form of learning. Interviews help you not just in learning, but if you are selected, the reward is very, very good. Okay. And if you are not selected, then remember, you will still lose nothing. Not giving interviews is even worse than facing rejections in interviews, because not attending the exam means the opportunity is gone. Companies will hire someone else, they will not wait for you. Okay, but if you are rejected in interview, then at least you will learn new things and next time you are more prepared, right? So start giving interviews and do accept my never give up challenge until you crack the interview. Okay, accept the challenge now by writing never give up in the comment section. Finally, all the best from my side, and I will support you in your career journey by posting the interviews, careers, and the job videos continuously. Join my interview cracking community by pressing the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much.